You're with the Break-a-Leggers, and we are in London at the Victoria Palace Theatre
to see the most hotly anticipated musical, probably of the century,
Hamilton. So stay tuned to find out how many legs,
whether it's break a leg
or leg it. Before you lovely people go any further,
to make sure you've always got your finger on the theatrical pulse.
For theatre news, reviews and interviews,
hit subscribe now.
Yeah, just hit subscribe now. So we can't believe it, we have actually got tickets for Hamilton, which has only just recently opened as well.
Yeah, it's literally just gone into previews. We're getting a very sneaky early peek at this one, and to say that it has set the musical theatre world on fire within the past 3 years or so would probably be the understatement of the decade.
Yes, if you know anything about musicals, then this is the ticket people have been hotly wanting.
Absolutely. It started off at the Public Theatre, which is a little off-Broadway space in New York, before transferring onto Broadway, and it's gone on a US tour, it's had international productions, and now it's landed here, slightly later than anticipated, in the West End.
Yeah, controversially, this is a Cameron Mackintosh production, and we say the newly refurbished Victoria Palace, because it's been in refurbishments for the past year.
Yes, and they were hoping to have it open about 3 weeks ago, but unfortunately, theatre weren't not ready yet.
No.
So they pushed everything back, had to reseat hundreds of people. That's why we're even luckier to get a ticket this early in the run, at the last minute.
So, written by, I want to say music and lyrics by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes, it's the story of Alexander Hamilton and his place in finding America as a country in the Revolution. Lin-Manuel himself was inspired by a biography of Alexander Hamilton and has therefore written this. He's also got some other great credits.
Yeah, he also did In the Heights,
yes,
which came over here and was at the King's Cross Theatre.
Yes, the kind of small musical called Working, which had a run at the Southwark Playhouse this year, and the Disney film
Moana.
Yes, Moana. He is on the rise. He is astronomical at the moment. He's even bagged himself a part, because he's an actor too, in the upcoming Mary Poppins movie.
Ooh! Now we've come nice and early because in order to get into this venue, they advise you get here an hour before the show opens.
Security is tighter than a gnat's chuff.
Can we say that? Is that
just
allowed?
Did.
And as such, you've got to have bag searches, tickets. You've got to turn up with your ID, your payment method to prove you are who you say you are.
They are pioneering a new technique called paperless ticketing, where they don't send you out tickets in advance. You have to be here on the day. You have to be who you say you are in order to discourage high-priced touting.
But hey, we're here and we're catching it, and we'll let you know what we think when we catch you at the interval. We've come to the interval of Hamilton here at the Victoria Palace, which means it's time for the Break-a-Leggers
30-second interval breakdown.
Go! What do you think so far?
Yeah, phenomenal. Staging is fantastic. The sound is brilliant. The story moves so well. I've got to say the ensemble are stealing the scenes for me. Every single moment of every single scene. What about you?
I think it's great. I think the strength is in the writing. I think because we're working with such a good piece of text, it's so linguistically clever, it moves the story along so well, and it's been told with such dynamics that jump up and down. The first act seemed to 20 minutes.
The audience are in rapture.
You're back with the Break-a-Leggers, and we have come to the end of Hamilton. Now, there's a million things we haven't done, but seeing Hamilton isn't one of them.
Because we have come to the end, and what an epic it is. 2 hours and 45 minutes with a 15-minute interval, so don't be caught out by that shorter interval. Am I going first?
Yeah, go for it. What do you think?
Well, I thought it's kind of quite revolutionary in its staging because it's so dynamic. It moves so swiftly. No major set pieces as such in terms of set, but what there is a kind of a center revolve, and then a revolve around that revolve, and a revolve around that revolve. So in that case, it's almost a bit like Groundhog Day in that sense, but it moves so seamlessly around each other from piece to piece to piece. The dynamics of the show just come hitting you hard and fast, and then it slows right down and draws you right in, and then it punches itself out again.
Yeah, the genius in this piece, alongside Lin-Manuel Miranda's fantastic score and lyrics that we mentioned in the breakdown, is Thomas Cale's direction, alongside Andy Blankenbuehler's choreography.
And it's all the time.
Yeah, and it is relentlessly highly staged and choreographed.
I mean, for the cast of, I think it was about 20, 21, 22, they are constantly on the stage, moving even during intimate moments. Ensemble are there, but not detracting from what's going on. Kind of, they've really taken a risk as to, is it going to detract or is it going to add to it? And it adds to it. They've made bold choices.
Yeah, there were times when I was thinking, is this necessary? But to be honest with you, the ensemble totally stole the show for me, in so much as they seem to grab every scene by the throat, lift it up and force it at the audience, which is an absolute sensory delight.
I was quite worried, I have to say, in anticipation of Hamilton coming over to UK, because it's very American.
Yeah.
It's the story of America, the setting up the kind of major systems that are in place in America, financial systems.
Yeah, to make it stand alone.
Presidential systems. It's about standing up to England as well, so I wasn't sure. It's
a real one of them to the UK, really, which is... I mean, our audiences in the UK going to accept that, but to be honest with you, they seemed to love it. They seemed to be happy that it was a bit of an, F you to the UK.
Well, I didn't think it was to the UK, but I did think, do you know what? This is a very, very good, strong story. Regardless, it doesn't matter where it's staged. You don't have to have that connection, that patriotic kinship to what is America to appreciate what a good story it is. Just having this figure, Alexander Hamilton, giving fully his life, being an orphan, kind of appreciating life because of his background, and then giving 2,000% to every single day, never being satisfied.
And I think the point is, there are other founding fathers that do get the spotlight, the Jeffersons, the Washingtons, all of those, and then there is this character that unfortunately has been sidelined largely until this moment, and now he's getting his late resurgence, which is good for him.
Which is great, because now when people say, American history, who's Alexander Hamilton, and I'll go, he's the lead character in the musical.
But I've always said that everything we know we've learned from musicals. I wouldn't know anything about the French Revolution if it wasn't for Les Mis. I certainly wouldn't know anything about,
all things that
anything War, that isn't in a musical, to be honest.
Sun newspaper, Ink, James Graham,
that's in a play.
Political parties, all of it. Anyway, more plays. So plays, drama in general, a learning experience. I want to say the sound. I was worried because the soundtrack, there's so much going on in terms of ensemble sound, and there's usually no just one person singing. It's one person having a line, then another person, then another person. The sound design for this show is spot on, and the equipment they have to fulfill the show, they haven't scrimped or saved at all. They have big bass boxes, they have all the treble. You can hear everything, which is integral with this text. So I'm so happy they got the sound design right.
Absolutely, I would fully agree. Now the amount of money they've ploughed into this production is already paying dividends, and that was noticed by the rather epic queue for the merchandise stall alone.
Oh my
I think
goodness.
We were waiting at least 15 minutes at the end of the show. There were people that were having to come at the end of the show just because they couldn't get in before or in the interval. There was too much demand. They are making money hand over fist for this one, so well done, Cameron. You can sit in your bank vault and count your pennies.
Yes, definitely merchandise and making a lot of money.
Yes. Performances, the Alexander Hamilton's wife, Eliza.
She was great.
Played by Rachel Ann Goh. Rachel Ann Goh we saw in Miss Saigon.
Yes, playing, I want to say, was it Gigi?
Yeah.
Gigi,
fantastic
voice.
Years ago, fantastic voice. She won the Philippines, I believe it was, equivalent of X Factor.
Wow!
In 2004, and she got her big break as a
And she's
result.
fantastic as well. She was a solid actress and fantastic vocalist.
Yes.
Great.
Now, it's worth mentioning, we actually got an understudy for the main man himself, for Alexander Hamilton. Usually played by Jamal Westman, I believe at matinees and selected performances. The same role is played by Ash Hunter, and this was his first time treading the boards as Hamilton today.
Now, I've got to say, if this was Ash's first time on stage, and we're seeing it very early on in the run, so it hasn't had its press night yet, it was a very accomplished performance from everyone. It felt as if this show had been running for the best part of 4 months, so embedded in, so full of energy, nothing going wrong, like none of that kind of
Slick
preview.
as anything, wasn't it?
No, it's slick, and Ash was great. I think the problem is as well, though, you're coming with an expectation. I've always known Lin-Manuel Miranda playing Alexander Hamilton, and listening to the soundtrack, you hear certain voices. So it took me about 5 minutes to ease into different dynamics of voices, different faces. But once I eased into that and bought into it, I thought they did fantastic. Who else did you think stood out?
I loved Rachel John as Angelica Schuyler, Eliza's sister. To be fair, there's always a smaller part in every show, which is the part you really want. And for me, it's that part. It's a brilliant, deep, gut-wrenching part. It has a massive amount of balls, and I loved it, and I loved her interpretation of the character.
I've got to say, I absolutely agree. I didn't really know how much vulnerability could be put into the character in terms of the regret of the decision she made to not be eligible, I guess, to be Alexander Hamilton's wife. But that was really brought out, and you really did feel for her, which you just don't get from the soundtrack.
Absolutely believable performance and a real family feel in her performance. I genuinely was brought into the idea that they loved one another, the sisters. Lovely.
I also liked Aaron Burr.
Yes, Giles Terrera.
Again, I wasn't sure for the first 5 minutes, but as he went on, I was like, yes, I am in safe hands here.
It's an interesting, what's the word? Interpretation of that part.
How do you mean?
A lot more subtle to what's on the cast recording from the original Broadway performance. There's a lot of spit and venom from Burr in the cast recording. That in here there was a real lightness of touch. I think from what I can gather, he is trying to make it his own, and it really worked for you, right?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I mean, you are on the back foot because listening to cast recording, that is what you know, and I think specifically at the end when they're aiming the gun at each other and the lines about he will not make an orphan of my daughter, there wasn't the venom in that line specifically that I wanted, but I still bought into the whole rest of the performance from start to finish.
Absolutely lovely. A lot of laughs from Jason Pennycook as Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson.
Camping it up.
So camp. Now, the camp character, if anyone knows
Camping it
this,
up.
should be or could be King George. But I've got to say, that Jason Pennycook as Thomas Jefferson took it to a whole new level. I came out and I was like, oh, was Thomas Jefferson gay?
In real life.
Actually gay.
But he's not.
But he's not, apparently. But he does play it that way, but it is hilarious.
Yeah, and that's what I like about Hamilton, as in the piece, in terms of diverse casting. They completely changed the rules in terms of colour casting, in terms of stereotypes. It knows what it is, and it makes a mockery of, not mockery of itself, it just say, I don't know,
But
it's
it doesn't
open-minded.
care. Like, I think the point is, it doesn't care. You know, this would have been a predominantly white
middle-aged,
middle class, wealthy story, and they've thrown that away and said, you know what? No, this is a people story. It's about art. It's about the country that America has become, rather than the country that America was.
And like they say in the show, immigrants, we get the job done. Anybody else you want to throw out there?
I just thought I keep coming back to it, but it's the ensemble.
Is it the ensemble?
It's the ensemble.
Oh, it's the ensemble.
But like every single one of the unnamed character ensemble had real definition. They had their own characterization. They had their own. The presence of them was phenomenal.
And you know, they all get showcased as well. I mean, the main leads play usually more than one part in this piece anyway, so it's good to see them in their different places. Hercules Mulligan came back in the second act
Yes.
as someone else who
As
completely
James
different.
Madison.
As James Madison, completely different. He had
Yeah.
a lovely, rich voice as Madison. It was beautiful to watch. Who was that? Who played that part?
That is Taryn Callender.
Taryn Callender did a great job.
I tell you who else's voice I absolutely loved, and I'll be seeking out his other work. It was absolutely George Washington, who was
coming
played
home.
by Obioma Ugoala.
Hopefully we've pronounced that right.
Ugoala? Oh, I really hope we have, but I will be Googling him anyway.
Yeah,
to
he
find
was
out
great.
what else he's done.
Within
His
the
voice
first-
was beautiful.
Yeah, within the first 30 seconds I knew that we were in safe hands. He sounded fantastic. He had such a presence on stage as well. Absolutely loved him. But yeah, all the parts, they double up, and the ensemble, they got featured as well throughout the piece. So everyone, this is a real demanding show for its company.
Absolutely, but they all handled it with such verve. I'm sure the extra rehearsal time they got, because the theatre wasn't ready, has really helped them, but it's paid dividends because even in previews, people are going away raving about this. But what's their opinion? You're wondering what our opinion is. Is it worth the hype?
Well, there is only one opinion that matters, so what are we going to give Hamilton here at the Victoria Palace Theatre?
We are going to give 5!
5 legs, absolutely. The text is fantastic, the
Yes.
story is fantastic,
Yes.
it's presented in such a dynamic way and it sounds great.
Yes, believe the hype is what
Believe
I
it.
would say.
I think this will run and run.
I think it will run and run. I don't think it's the next Les Mis. I don't think it's a 25-yearer. I don't think it's a 30-yearer. But I think it's going to be here for a good long while. And I think and hope you get the chance to see it. Now, it's mainly sold out, but keep your eye on the official website. I managed to secure tickets for today's matinee on Thursday afternoon.
2 days ago.
2 days and then we're here at the show. It's worth keeping an eye out. Don't be disheartened. Also, download the Hamilton app. You
Yes.
can enter a daily lottery where you can win some of the best seats for just £10 each, which
Bargain.
is an incredible bargain. No statistics on how many people are entering that though, so you may be more chance of you winning the Euro Millions.
But someone's got to win
Someone's
it,
got to win.
and it could be you.
Absolutely. Anyway, that's just what we thought.
Please let us know what you think if you get to see it.
Yeah, leave us a comment, maybe say hi on Twitter. We're the Breaker-Leggers, and we'll catch you again soon. Bye! There's a million things we haven't done, but seeing Hamilton isn't one of them.
Well, now it is one of them.
No, that we
Isn't-
haven't done.
Oh.
You've ruined the joke. There's a million things we haven't done, but seeing Hamilton isn't one of them. Because we've just come to the end.
Did you want me to talk?
Yeah, I was hoping you would interject. and you
Oh,
would be
right,
like,
right.